said, why this place so dry? No love to find. You're the only one that ever acts kind. They all after me. What's happening? I wish that you could see what I see. Your boyfriend's a douche that thinks he's cool and doesn't deserve a girl like you.
Hey, this is Nagato Uzumaki, and this is my first video, and today I'll be doing What If Deku Was the Reincarnation of Kakuzu. Now, in this one, his father's quirk, instead of being a fire quirk, it's gonna be like it's gonna more or less be a earth-style quirk, and his mother's also gonna be the only one who knows how to use chakra, so that he could, have all the stuff that Kakuzu has basically. So, um, it's basically going to be all the same until he's 4, and so when he's 4, he's going to actually have like an Earth quirk, you know, so he could do like Diamond Morph and all that. But the doctor took it because he worked for All for One and all that. But so, the doctor says to Inka Midoriya, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. Your son Izuku doesn't have a quirk." And in this one, like quirkless people are basically like treated like trash, and there's even less of a chance that you're quirkless. Like there's like a 2% chance that you're quirkless. So on their way driving home, Inko's just yelling at him, like saying, "You stupid, useless brat, get out of my life," or like, "You idiot, how could you be quirkless?" And so he gets dropped off in the woods. She drives up, uh, opens the door, drags him out, pushes him into the woods, and says, "Never come back, little quirkless brat." And then she closes the door and drives off. And Deku tries to chase her for a little bit, but then soon realizes that it's not worth it, because she'll just like try to run him over or something. And so he goes into the woods. He makes a makeshift tent, and then he cries himself to sleep that night. And when he wakes up, it looks like he's still in the forest, but there's this man, and it's Kakuzu. And he's like, "Who are you?" Because he's like still 4 at this point, so he's not really like that tough. And Kakuzu's like, "I'm Kakuzu, and you're my reincarnation, so I'll be teaching you." And so he teaches him like the essentials of chakra control. And Deku's pretty bad at it at first, but he's gonna get really good really quick. Like he's gonna be a natural prodigy. And so he teaches him how to use chakra, like chakra control, walking on water, walking on walls, and like how to use Earth style and like Diamond Morph. And he also teaches him how to like harden up his body, like Kakuzu does. And so when Deku wakes up, he thinks it was just a dream. So he goes to try to like walk on water with his chakra control, and it works. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, this this is gonna work. I could be a hero." And so um he like I'm gonna say he builds like with his new enhanced strength. He chops down a tree with his hands, and then makes a house for like it takes him a month, but he does it eventually. And then he starts like using his enhanced speed, like enhanced strength and stuff to get to school. And when Bakugo sees him there, he's like, "What's up, you useless Deku?" And Deku's like, "Oh yeah? Well, let's see about that, Kanchan." And I'm gonna have him. have him call Bakugo Kanshan because it just makes more sense to me. And so he basically turns his body, like hardens his body, like turns it into earth, kind of like how Kakuzu does. And then he fights Bakugo, but he won't kill him yet. I'm gonna have him do that when, like, at the start of the series. But so, the rest of school goes normal for him. Uh, Inko comes by to pick Bakugo up sometimes, and one of the times she sees Izuku, but he looks different. Like his hair is still green, but it's kind of like Kakuzu's, like down, and he's more muscular. And he's also got all the stitches on his body. Like he doesn't have like the um hurts with the masks yet, but he has the stitches, so he could do that stuff. He just needs like the puppets now. And so at the start of the series, Bakugo basically he tells Deku to meet him at this alley, the same place where the sludge villain attacked Deku. He's like, "Hey, useless Deku, come meet me here." And Deku's like, "Yeah, whatever you say, Kanchan. And remember, you're the useless Deku here." And then Kanchan gets mad. And so after school, they both meet up there, except Bakugo's not with his lackeys. And so in this one, also, All Might captured the sludge villain like way sooner, so he won't be there. Deku, he catches Bakugo off guard by stretching out his arms and hardening them, and then like ripping out his heart, and then taking a mask that Kakuzu that he made because Kakuzu told him about like his powers, and then he takes the heart, puts it behind the mask, and basically does a thing to get um Bakugo's explosion quirk, and then he calls an alert to like the police of like his location, and I'll just say that he got. I'm just gonna say he happened to get a hold of All Might, and he says, "All Might, there's this boy. I just found him. He was my friend, and he's dead now. His heart's been ripped out." Because he's trying to sound scared, so All Might doesn't think it's him. And I'm thinking of either making him like a vigilante, like either he's probably gonna be a villain. No, he's gonna be a vigilante. Um, and so he left, and All Might showed up, and he was like, "Who could have done this? Such a young boy with a promising future." And so, um, we're just gonna say like there was this like camera that was kind of facing it, but it was facing it to the point where they couldn't see like anything that Deku did. They could just see like Bakugo's hurt getting ripped out, kind of like basically Bakugo's blood flying and um him falling to the ground with a hole in his chest. And so everything goes the same for the 10 months, except Inko is starting to expect that that was a bad idea. Because she thought like maybe he really did have a quirk, and she wants him back now to so like she could get famous and rich. Because this one I'm making Inko kind of like a fucking asshole. Um, and so she she's starting to want him back now, and Mitsuki is now like really sad. Um, thinking like of all the ways she could have prevented this, like raising him to be a better person, basically. But it would probably happened anyway. And he probably would have gotten hunted down by Deku. And so, Deku's training with the 10 months, and then one night when he falls asleep, I'm gonna say around like the 4 month mark, he like Kakuzu comes and says, "Hey, kid," and Deku's like, "Yeah, Dad," because he calls Kakuzu Dad. And Kakuzu he smiles and he's like, you're gonna need to train in that explosion quirk you got. And he never really explained why he took the hearts and put them behind the masks. So Deku's kind of like, what? What do you mean? And he's like, well, since you took his heart and put it behind the mask, and now it's in your body, you now have his quirk. And he's like, all right. And so for the rest of the 6 months, he trains in like this explosions, and Kakuzu basically tries to explain to him like explosion release, kind of like how that one guy could punch things and then it explode. He tries to explain it to him like that, and Deku understands. So he trains in like he trains in his Earth release, and he also trains in like Diamond Morph and the explosions. And so that was like the 4 month mark. At the 6 month mark, he goes to the entrance exam. He doesn't trip this time, but we're gonna say he takes notice in people that look like they have like really strong quirks. Like I'm gonna say probably I don't want to kill anybody too nice or too important. I'm gonna say like I don't know. I'll decide later. Probably gonna be Monoma or something. I don't know. But so he walks in. He doesn't trip this time, but so he's mumbling stuff about like how to like he's still like a bit of a mumbler, so he's mumbling about how to train in Earth and explosion release because that's what he calls them. And so Ida does the same thing, yelling at President Mike, and then he turns to Deku and says, "And you." And then Deku just kind of like looks at him because he was looking up at the ceiling before, and he says, "You've been mumbling this entire time and distracting everyone. Could you shut up?" And then Deku kind of like does a thing with his mouth, like he's been wearing a mask this entire time, like kind of like a surgical mask, but he takes it down, and they see the stitches, and he's also been like wearing like long sleeved baggy hoodies most of the time, like baggy jeans, stuff like that. And so he takes it, and they see the stitching, and he's kind of creeped out. And Deku kind of opens his mouth, and then like the needle kind of things come out, and then Ida just kind of like you could see his face turn white, and then he just turns back around, and then Deku's like the things go back in his mouth, and he puts the mask back up, and then so they go to they go back to the like battle site, right? They go back to the battle site, and then um uh President Mike said, "Go, go, go! There's no time. Like there's no what was it like? There's no countdown in a real battle." He's like, "Yeah, there's no countdown in a real battle. Go, 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 go!" And then so they all go. Deku's combining like his Earth release, like just punch through the robots, and like explosion release to like explode them. And he gets like a whole like I'm gonna say he breaks the record. No, he doesn't break the record, but he gets like 200 points. And so he's about to um walk away, and but then he hears like this big rumbling and this girl screaming, and so he turns back, and dang it, who am I gonna make this ship? I'm gonna say it's gonna be Froppy. It's gonna be Froppy. So Froppy's tracked, and so he's like, oh fuck. And so he goes over, and he jumps up, and he like kind of puts his hands together, kind of like that one hand sign, except he just turns his hands like super. He does like he turns his body super hard, and then like crushes it through the middle, like kind of like dents its head, and then he just like powers down basically because like the wires got crushed and stuff. And then he comes down, breaks the like boulder that was trapping Froppy, and carries her, you know, like a chivalrous man, because he's still, chivalrous man, because that's Deku. And so he takes Froppy to what was it, Emergency Girl? I think that's what it was. You guys could flame me in the comments. I don't care. But so she like kisses Froppy's legs and then makes them, not in a weird way, but she makes Froppy better. And then Froppy got a crush on Deku from how nice he was. I don't know what I'm gonna do to make him turn into a vigilante. I don't know though. Probably something with maybe like his mom or like All Might. I don't know. So we're gonna say that was broadcasted, and Mitsuki seen it, and she's like, "Wasn't that like Bakugo's quirk?" And but how? Bakugo's dead. Um, and so he just heads back to home to like his cabin in the woods. Like he body flickers there, and so he just like starts relaxing. And he basically told them to send it to like this place, which was like basically at the edge of the woods from like near where he lived. And so, uh, like we're gonna say a week later instead of 2 weeks. A week later, um, he could. I'm gonna also say he has like super hearing just from like training super hard. He hears like this van pull up, drop like a package or like a piece of paper, and then drive off. And then he body flickers to the edge of the forest and takes the package. And it's like, you were accepted to UA, blah, 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 all that. He's like, knew it. And then kind of just like crushes it, you know? And then he takes the he takes it to like he just goes back to his house. Uh and he gets ready for school like the next week, I'm gonna say. Um yeah, the next week. And then so the next week, he heads in with his uniform, and he walks into class. I'm gonna say instead of Bakugo being in class 1A, we're gonna say that mm, Shinso's in class 1A because I like him. He's a cool dude. Shinso's gonna be actually kind of like a brother to him, so he won't kill him even though he has like a really good quirk. Uh, and also Shinso's probably gonna become like a vigilante with him. So he sits down next to Shinso. They start talking, and then Fabi comes up to Deku, and she's like, hey Deku, um, um, uh, uh, so you want to be friends? And how you're maybe asking, how does Fabi know Deku's name? Well, he told her, call me Deku, and like when after he saved her, um, and so he's like, yeah, sure. But then he like after class he takes her to the side and he's like, well, I mean, I know you want to be something more, right? And Froppy, like, she blushes and she's like, yeah, maybe, but only if you want to, Deku-kun. And he's like, sure, why not? And then he kisses her, and, we're gonna say they were getting out, and, like, the only two people left were, like, Shinso and Mineta. Shinso sees this, he looks at Mineta, and Mineta's, like, charging towards him, and so he just, like, holds him back, like, with one arm, because it's super easy to hold Mineta back, let's be honest. And then so um he takes like he just they just go off. Deku and Froppy now holding hands, much to the annoyance of Mineta. And we're gonna say Tokoyami liked Froppy, so also to the annoyance of Tokoyami. Um so they go sit down and then Tokoyami walks up to Deku and he's like, I I live in the dark. I challenge you for Froppy's hand. Because we're gonna say Mr. Aizawa did some like introducing everyone. Like they all had to introduce themselves, and so Deku's like, yeah, sure, whatever, loser. And so he fights Tokoyami outside, like behind the school, and then he beats him, He walks over to him and says, I'm not gonna kill you, even though you have a good quirk. And then like Tokoyami's like, what makes you think you would kill me? You know the one that killed that explosion kid 10 months ago? That was me. Oh, and if you do tell anyone, Tokoyami, you're dead too. And then Tokoyami's kind of like he shivers, and he's like, okay, all right. And then they walk back. Tokoyami's shivering, and then he goes, we're gonna say he's with the Bakugo squad. Kirishima asks, hey, what happened, bro? And Tokoyami's like, that one over there. He points at Deku. He's the one. He's the one who's the most powerful here. And we're gonna say Kirishima and Denki take that as a challenge, so they're gonna challenge him after school. No, actually, Denki. The only one that's gonna challenge him is Denki. And he's gonna make it look like he just disappeared from like a villain attack. And so they go through the rest of the day. Nothing important happens. Uh, Major Joke texts Aizawa because they're gonna be dating, and so he just like ends class early and lets them leave. So a few blocks away from the school, Denki's like, "Hey, dude, challenge you to a fight since I'm pretty sure I'm the strongest." And he's like, "All right." They go to like this kind of like alleyway. Then Deku shoots his hand forward, rips out Denki's heart, puts it behind another mask. We're gonna say it's like the one with the yellow nose. Um, and then he takes it, puts it in him, and then now he also has Denki's quirk, so he could make like explosions and lightning, right? And so after that day, he got back, and everybody was asking where Denki is, and Deku was looking like really shaken up, and everybody's just like, "What happened, dude?" And he's like, "Well, when we were a few blocks away from the school, Denki challenged me to a friendly battle, and while we were fighting, a villain came up, and then he stole Denki's quirk, also killing him in the process, and then forced it upon me to make it like not look suspicious that much." And everybody's like starts comforting him. The only ones that really question it is Momo because she's smart, Ida because he's smart, and Froppy questions it, but she wouldn't do anything even if it was Deku because she loves him too much. And so they're gonna go to the USJ today, and that's where I'll be leaving it off.